I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda, change for good. I embrace it, I enjoy it, and I do not fear it. The British royal family has been rocked by reports of a leaked document, allegedly bearing the direct signature of King Charles III, one that multiple sources describe as potentially devastating for the woman he elevated to the highest rank, Queen Camilla. Whispers circulating behind the oak doors of the palace suggest that the crisis began with a fateful discovery. While reviewing classified archives at Windsor, Prince William is said to have uncovered a previously undisclosed secret while belonging to the late Queen Elizabeth II, a document powerful enough to render years of quiet understandings null and void. Since then, long-concealed details have begun to surface: alleged backroom arrangements, networks of influence, and covert steps Camilla reportedly took to solidify her position. As the press scrambles for confirmation, William has gone conspicuously silent, while King Charles faces what may be the harshest decision of his life, signing an order that could erase his wife's royal future. What exact clause in that will leave Camilla with no escape? And how far is William prepared to go to enforce it, even if it means direct confrontation with his own father? The royal archives, deep within Windsor Castle, seemed frozen in time amid the scent of old paper and leather bindings. It was there that Prince William spent 3 full days surrounded by stacks of files documenting diplomatic events from the 1950s and dust-covered financial reports. He was not merely conducting an inventory. He was carrying out a systematic review following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, ensuring that every legal foundation of the monarchy remained firmly under control before he ever laid claim to the crown. William turned each page with gloved hands, precise and deliberate, until he brushed against a dark green leather envelope sealed with the late Queen's personal red wax stamp, a mark reserved only for the most confidential documents bearing direct instructions from the sovereign. Inside was no neatly typed legal instrument. Instead, it was a single sheet of handwritten paper in deep blue-black ink, the unmistakable hand of the woman who had reigned over Britain for more than 7 decades. The opening lines struck him immediately. This was no ordinary will dividing assets, nor a set of funeral wishes or charitable bequests. It was an unspoken constitutional directive, a supplementary clause pinned in the Queen's final days. When she knew her time was short and the monarchy stood on the threshold of a turbulent new chapter, her gaze froze on the pivotal sentences. With ruthless clarity, Queen Elizabeth II had drawn an uncrossable red line against Camilla, the woman his father had devoted a lifetime to elevating to queen consort. The clause stated plainly, upon the transfer of the scepter to William, Camilla Parker Bowles's position within the monarchical structure must end permanently. No official title, no representative role, no permission to appear in any ceremony of succession or behind-the-scenes advisory capacity. Her presence shall be confined strictly to that of wife to the reigning sovereign at the time, with no inheritance of influence into the succeeding reign. William's heart thudded. He remembered 2005, when his father married Camilla amid public outcry, with the understanding she would be styled princess consort rather than queen. Yet, time and Charles's persistence had altered everything, culminating in her coronation beside him in 2023. William realized that his grandmother, always vigilant over the monarchy, had never relaxed her watch. This secret will was a sword concealed beneath velvet, waiting for the precise moment to strike. The Queen had foreseen that Camilla's prolonged symbolic presence would remain a thorn in the public side, a reminder of past wounds inflicted on Diana, Princess of Wales, and a threat to William's legitimacy. She permitted Charles his personal happiness, but resolutely severed any seed of lasting influence for Camilla once William's era began. If he made it public or enforced it, William would face his father head-on, shattering the fragile family peace. But if he ignored it, he would betray the will of the woman who had defined the standards of the monarchy. William stepped out into the long corridor of Windsor. The late afternoon sun stretched his shadow across the stone floor. He did not return to his rooms. He knew he must go to King Charles at once. A new era was about to begin, and as always, its price would be the sacrifice of family ties. On the chessboard of power, William walked toward his father's private study. Inside, King Charles sat at his oak desk, candlelight and shaded lamps casting a soft glow across stacks of red folders. When he saw his eldest son enter with a grave expression, he raised an eyebrow and set his fountain pen down. William approached with measured respect but maintained the cool distance of duty. Slowly, he placed the sheet of paper on the desk. As Charles read, the air seemed to be sucked away. His eyes lingered painfully on the passage concerning Camilla. William watched every tiny shift in his father's face, initial surprise giving way to stunned disbelief, finally a visible collapse deepening the crow's feet etched by time. The silence stretched until the ticking of the grandfather clock became audible. William remained silent. He stood erect, hands clasped behind his back, his deep blue eyes studying the inner torment tearing at his father. Charles was not merely a monarch. He was a man who had spent half his life shielding and elevating the woman he loved. Yet this will was a mortal blow from his late mother. King Charles leaned back slowly, gaze drifting into nothingness. A brutal war raged within him. The vow to protect Camilla's happiness versus the constitutional command of Queen Elizabeth II. William noticed the sweat tracing down his father's temple. He sensed Charles's faltering resolve, yet his own heart strengthened. He had not come seeking compromise. He had come to remind his father of duty. The gulf between the two most powerful men in Britain widened with every passing second. That night, Camilla became a ghost within the palace. She maintained her composure, using quiet influence to sway public opinion and aristocratic loyalty. Yet she knew William held the legal sword. A private meeting was requested, a challenge signaling that the clash between generations, personal affection, and institutional discipline had reached the point of no return. In the meeting, Camilla suggested a long-term, unofficial supporting role. William listened impassive. He recognized the media campaign for what it was, a bid to bargain with the monarchy's future. He did not argue. His actions would be weighted by law and protocol. Immediately after the meeting, he began signing directives that stripped Camilla of influence over charities, royal schedules, and intelligence briefings. Camilla felt the tightening almost immediately. Invitations were withdrawn, communications blocked, and her network of power quietly dismantled. William had executed a clean institutional purge, leaving no trace of public quarrel or personal vendetta. Order had been restored in the name of fidelity to Queen Elizabeth II's final wishes. King Charles, meanwhile, was left to confront the painful truth. Shielding Camilla would betray his mother's command and risk a succession crisis. He spent the night wrestling with his conscience before finally signing the enforcement document at first light, a decision that marked the ultimate sacrifice of personal affection for the monarchy. Camilla remained beside the king at ceremonial events, but her influence had vanished. William, on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, felt no triumph, only the cold solitude of a man who had sifted through the past and reshaped the future. True power, he knew, lay not in diamonds or applause, but in standing firm amid the terrifying silence of ruthless decisions. The royal announcement became worldwide headlines, yet within the palace, all remained eerily still. Queen Elizabeth II's final wish had been fulfilled. William had become the guardian of the monarchy's enduring strength, while the bonds of blood and affection bore the weight of history. After reading this story, what do you think? Is King Charles III's final decision a testament to the maturity of a monarch who knows how to place the institution above all else, or merely the painful surrender of a husband unable to protect the woman he loves from the will of the late queen? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video on your screen.